Long ago, in a quiet settlement resting between tall mountains and endless green slopes, there lived a young man who was only 24 years old. His name was Marco, and although he was young in age, his heart and mind felt very heavy. From the moment he opened his eyes in the morning until he lay down at night, his thoughts never slowed down. His mind constantly jumped from one idea to another, creating noise inside his head that never seemed to stop. Memories of mistakes he had made before filled him with regret, while thoughts about what might happen tomorrow filled him with fear. Because of this never-ending cycle, his inner world felt chaotic, like wild winds crashing into each other without rest. Calmness had become a stranger to him. Sleep came late, smiles disappeared from his face, and even simple joy felt distant. No matter what Marco tried, the storm inside him remained. The more he tried to control his thoughts, the louder they became. People around him noticed his tired eyes and his quiet sadness, but no one truly understood what he was going through. One afternoon, while listening to travelers talk, Marco heard a story that caught his attention. They spoke about a distant village hidden high in the hills where an elderly man lived. This man, they said, once worked in the city as a respected psychologist. Over the years, he had helped countless people heal their minds and understand their emotions. When age slowed him down, he left the crowded streets and loud life behind, choosing instead to live close to nature in silence and simplicity. Although he no longer worked actively, he still guided those who came to him with sincere hearts. The idea filled Marco with hope. Something inside him whispered that this journey might change his life. He thought to himself that if anyone could help him escape the noise in his head, it would be this wise elder. Without delaying any longer, Marco packed a few belongings and began his journey toward the hills. The road was long and exhausting. He walked through rough paths, crossed villages, and climbed steep trails. Each step felt heavy, but his determination pushed him forward. After many days, when his body was tired and his feet ached, he finally reached the quiet village people had spoken about. The place felt different from anywhere he had been before. There was a deep silence in the air, broken only by the sounds of nature. At the edge of the village stood a small house, almost hidden by plants and vines. Sitting calmly on the porch was the old man. His posture was relaxed, his eyes closed, and his face reflected deep peace. Marco approached him slowly and spoke with respect. He explained how his thoughts never stopped, how his heart felt restless, and how he desperately wanted peace within himself. He asked if there was any way the old man could guide him. The elder opened his eyes slowly and looked at Marco with kindness. A gentle smile appeared on his face. He did not give a long speech or ask many questions. Instead, he invited Marco to follow him. They walked into a small open space near the house. The old man picked up a clear glass and filled it with water until it reached the very edge. The surface trembled slightly, as if even the smallest movement could cause it to overflow. He handed the glass to Marco and gave him simple instructions. Marco was told to walk to the far end of the village and return without letting a single drop fall. Although Marco was confused by the task, he trusted the old man and agreed. Holding the glass firmly, he began to walk. The path through the village was lively. People passed by. Children laughed and ran. Shop owners shouted to attract attention, and animals made noise as they moved around. Yet Marco paid no attention to any of it. His entire focus rested on the water in the glass. Each step was careful and slow. His breathing became steady, and his movements were controlled. Nothing else mattered except keeping the water still. When he finally returned, the glass was still full. Not a single drop had spilled. Marco felt a quiet sense of achievement. The old man looked at him with approval, and then asked a question. He wanted to know if Marco had noticed the children playing or heard the sounds around the village. Marco thought for a moment and realized he had been completely unaware of everything around him. His attention had never left the glass. The old man nodded gently. He explained that what Marco had experienced was not new or magical. It was something that already existed within him. By giving his full attention to the present task, Marco had stopped his mind from wandering. There was no room for regrets or fears, because his awareness was fully rooted in the moment. For that short time, his thoughts had become quiet, and his inner storm had settled. As the meaning of the task sank in, Marco felt something shift inside him. He understood that peace does not come from running away from life or changing the outside world. True calm is born when the mind stays where the body is, without traveling to the past or racing toward the future. The silence he felt during the walk was the same peace he had been searching for all along. With gratitude, Marco bowed his head and thanked the old man. As evening arrived, the sky slowly changed colors and birds returned to their homes. Marco began his journey back, but he was no longer the same person who had arrived days earlier. His thoughts were lighter, his heart calmer, and his steps more confident. He now knew how to quiet his mind by staying present. If this story touched your heart, take a moment to like it and share it with others. Subscribe to the channel to continue exploring meaningful stories that inspire growth and peace. Thank you for being here, and until the next story, remain calm, stay aware, and carry peace within you.